Well, joining us from Washington is our US correspondent, Stephen Edginton. Good to see you this morning, Stephen. Look, I mean, when you look at the analysis of all of this, it's Biden performs poorly, Trump lies endlessly. I mean, it's a lose-lose, isn't it?
I think the reaction in the United States has been very much one of Trump winning the debate. CNN conducted a poll where I think 67% said that Trump won the debate. And we actually did some interviews. We were at a watch party, and even Biden voters were saying, look, Trump did very well here. Biden came across as old. He stumbled on his words constantly, and Trump really took advantage of that. And we also saw a different Trump to what we saw in 2020. He didn't interrupt Biden once in the whole debate. Biden was actually the one trying to interrupt Trump at various points. He obviously couldn't because of the CNN rules where they turned off their mics when the other candidate tried to interrupt. So I think the reaction here in the US has been very much, as I said, Trump has done very well out tonight, and the Democrats are in chaos. Many of the more liberal media organizations here in the US are describing absolute terrible scenes in the Democratic Party. They're even considering maybe replacing Biden following this terrible performance in this debate.
Stephen, is this going to shift the dial in any way, shape or form, though? I mean, most people watched last night, early hours of the morning in the UK, just to see how Biden would perform. I was watching to see whether he could actually get through an entire debate stringing a sentence together, and I hate myself for thinking that, but I wasn't listening to really what he was saying. But I personally thought he performed better than I was expecting him to perform.
I think that it does matter, and I think this debate could shift the dial, particularly, as I said, amongst the Democrats, who, as they're considering whether to choose him as their candidate ahead of November, they'll be looking at this performance, and I think many of them will be thinking he just is too old to be president. And I know you said that you were impressed by him. I think that many other people saw these gaffes and these moments, particularly his closing statement, where he could barely get through his lines. I think there was a whole minute and a half of him basically spouting pretty much gibberish. And I think people will look at that and say, how can this man be president of the United States for another 4 years?
Stephen, there's only 3 years between the candidates. Well, Biden's 81, Trump is 78, isn't he? So there's only 3 years difference age-wise. Surely the same applies to both men.
Absolutely. I think that there has also been focus on Donald Trump's age as well. And you're right to mention that. He is 78, of course. However, if you look at the difference in the two men's performance tonight, I think there is a stark contrast. Trump was energetic. He was, I think, very charismatic. He was funny. He had his own moments. He was rambling as well. I think there are points where Trump certainly didn't come great. Sometimes he wouldn't answer the question. Sometimes, as I said, he would ramble on a little bit. But I think in terms of the energy and the charisma and the articulate nature of each candidate, Trump very much won.
OK, Stephen, we'll leave it there. Good to see you this morning. Thanks very much indeed.